Prehistoric Hongshan materials: jadeite, golden silk jade, and corundum. We all know that jadeite is a type of jade associated with Myanmar and is not traditionally considered a native Chinese jade material. In China, Hessian jade has long been regarded as the national jade. It was not until the late Qing dynasty that Empress Dowager Cixi began to popularize Burmese jadeite in China. Therefore, some people may naturally wonder, how could jadeite have existed during the Hongshan culture? Let us take lapis lazuli as another example. Many people believe that lapis lazuli was introduced into China from overseas regions such as the Middle East. Yet we have already found what we identify as Hongshan artifacts carved from lapis lazuli. We should not simply assume that the ancestors of the Hongshan culture were primitive people. In our research, we believe that the true ancestors of Hongshan were the sun gods, whom we identify as extraterrestrial beings. They possessed advanced technology and flying saucers, allowing them to travel to different parts of the earth and obtain beautiful natural materials for carving Hongshan artifacts. When we look at this Hongshan jadeite dragon embryo, we naturally have questions about its origin. First, we must understand what we identify as the prehistoric Hongshan tool mark known as work within work. According to our research, this type of tool mark cannot currently be reproduced using modern tools or computers. This jadeite artifact was collected by one of our members, Ti Ying. In addition to displaying the Hongshan tool marks, it was examined using the water displacement method and a density meter, which we believe confirmed it as old jadeite. Based on these observations, I therefore identify it as a prehistoric Hongshan material. This is a highly attractive Hongshan dragon embryo artifact, featuring a natural combination of yellow and black colors. The artistic vision of the Hongshan ancestors was truly unique. They obtained beautiful materials from different regions and carved them into a wide variety of forms, leaving behind valuable cultural information for later generations while also demonstrating their artistic achievements. When we examine this Hongshan golden silk jade dragon embryo, we can see that Hongshan dragon embryo forms were highly diverse. This artifact displays both work within work tool marks and straight line hole tool marks, which, in our identification system, are characteristic of authentic Hongshan artifacts. Another material we have identified is corundum. Corundum Al₂O₃ is a gemstone and rock-forming mineral composed primarily of crystallized aluminum oxide. Pure corundum is colorless, but small amounts of elements such as iron, titanium, vanadium, and chromium can produce different colors, including red, green, and yellow. Corundum is extremely hard, with a Mohs hardness of 9, second only to diamond. It has also been used as an abrasive material. Previously, we mistakenly identified one of Ti Ying's Buddha sculptures as a different stone. I would now like to correct that identification, it is corundum. Recently, our Taiwan Regional Vice President, Yang, also acquired another piece that appears to depict Shou Xing Gong, the traditional Chinese god of longevity. Thus, we have identified another material that we believe was used during the prehistoric Hongshan period, corundum. Let us look again at this figure. It appears to be Shou Xing Gong, traditionally associated with the immortal pine, symbolizing longevity. This piece also displays what we identify as the Hongshan work within work tool mark. This raises an intriguing question. Could representations of Shou Xing Gong have existed in the prehistoric Hongshan period? Here is another jade plaque carved from Xiaoyan jade. The figure depicted on it is also the immortal pine, which later generations associated with Shou Xing Gong. The surface patina appears extremely old, and in our assessment could not have developed without thousands of years of aging. It also has a thick gray accretion layer and what we identify as Hongshan tool marks. Now let us look at another remarkable jade plaque. It depicts Sima Guang as a child. According to the famous traditional story, when a child accidentally fell into a large water jar, the 7-year-old Sima Guang broke the jar with a stone to rescue him. Upon close examination, we identify the carving techniques as Hongshan-style tool marks. We also believe the Zhuyin jade itself shows an extremely old surface. Here is another figure, Confucius, revered as the teacher of all ages. We should ask ourselves, why would a Hongshan jade plaque appear to depict so many sages and figures associated with the spring and autumn period? If the spring and autumn period was only a little over 2,000 years ago, how could such an ancient-looking surface have formed? Based on our interpretation, we propose that Hongshan people did not exist only during the prehistoric period. Rather, they may have appeared repeatedly throughout later Chinese dynasties and brought the stories of sages, saints, Buddhas, and immortals from different historical periods back to the Hongshan civilization. These figures were then carved into jade plaques and used as teaching materials for the Hongshan people. Among these images, we believe we can also identify 2 of the 8 immortals Lu Dongbin and Cao Qiaju as well as Zhang Zia. This malachite sculpture appears to have clothing associated with the Tang dynasty. However, if we look carefully at the object held in his hands, we identify it as a Hongshan eagle totem. The Hongshan-style eye and recessed grooves also display what we identify as work-within-work tool marks. From our perspective, these examples support our belief that Hongshan-related figures continued to appear throughout later dynasties and may even have involved movement across different periods of history. Therefore, if you encounter similar jade plaques in the market in the future, and if your circumstances allow, I encourage you to collect and study them. Through the identification of what we consider authentic Hongshan tool marks, we may be able to discover messages and traces left behind by the ancestors of the Hongshan culture. Perhaps many people will not agree with these interpretations today. However, I believe that one day I will present even more examples for everyone to examine and consider.